Joining Sister Stace and Barry in the morning. You know it never fails when they're on air. I've kind of run out of the steam. Sister Stace and Barry. Hey everyone, welcome to Stace and Barry in the morning. I'm the Stace half of Stace and Barry, and joining me across the waves of the internet or something, I don't know how the internet technically works, is the Barry half. Morning, Barry.
Morning. I could honestly say I've been recording podcasts in some shape or fashion. Some shape or fashion. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Since 2006. Yeah. That ranks up there in one of my top 5 intros I've ever heard anyone do.
Oh, thanks, man. It just dawned on me yesterday that Stace and Barry in the morning fit to the theme tune of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, so I had to go with it.
Obviously, now what I'm hoping is someone who listens, one of the 3 people that listens, is also a talented artist, is now going to do us Stace and Barry Rescue Rangers like fan art.
Oh God, yes, please. I would love that.
Stace gets the Hawaiian shirt. I get the fedora and leather jacket. Everyone wins.
Are you saying that because the Hawaiian shirt is the one that buttons up so I don't have to have my tits out?
No, Stace. Actually, I was going with the fact that everyone knows that I am a fan of Indiana Jones, and I would like to wear the fedora, and it had nothing to do with you having your tits out. I'm not quite sure how we ended up there.
It's just that I was thinking that I'm pretty sure he wears his jacket open, but that the Hawaiian shirt is buttoned up, and I thought it was very sweet of you to choose the more modest item for me. And I do like a Hawaiian shirt, to be fair. But I can't pull them off because my bazongas are too big. But
no, I feel you could pull off an Hawaiian shirt.
Pattern-wise, I could, but shirts are hard to fit on people who have like really broad shoulders and big boobs, because then they're either like a marquee at the bottom or like a fucking dress. Or you can't button them up because you have to get one that fits everywhere else but doesn't fit the top half of you. Anyway, this is too much talk about my tits for a Saturday morning.
Welcome to Stace and Barry's fashion choices.
Stace and Barry talk about boobs. No, I mean, I don't know where to go now, Barry. Hurry up, you say something.
Normally what you do is you just dive in with trumpets, and then that kind of just saves the day.
Oh, yeah.
So how about we hit it with trumpets, and we just hit it with some I was going to say week that was. That's a different podcast.
Get it together, Barry. Get it together. Right, we're in a state today. Sorry, everybody.
Right. Pick of the fortnight. Trumpet it.
Pick of the fortnight. B, what's your pick of the fortnight?
My pick of the fortnight kind of came out of nowhere. Actually, it's a show on Prime, Amazon Prime, called The Legend of Vox Machina. Have you heard of this?
Okay, so I've heard of it, but I don't know a single thing about it.
So apparently, this is based on a web series called Critical Role.
Oh, okay.
Which was a load of, I'm probably murdering this, I should have done some research, but I think it's a load of voice actors who they basically play Dungeons and Dragons, and it's like it's a web series.
Yeah.
Of their campaign. And what they did was looks like, looking at Wikipedia, they did a Kickstarter campaign to raise money to do the show. And I think it's the first 10 episodes were funded via the Kickstarter campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 12 episodes in total. I have seen 9 episodes because it's coming. I think it's coming out weekly. Although I think I watched the first sort of 7, and then I was waiting for like the next one to come out, and all of a sudden there was 2 on there, and I'm sure I hadn't missed a week, but it doesn't really matter. But I watched the first episode, and I was about 10 minutes in, and I was all set to kind of drop it, because I was kind of like, I don't know, it feels a little bit like they're trying to do like Carry On Dungeons and Dragons, because everyone was swearing and and they were trying to drop like zingers and one-liners, and I was like, I don't know about it. And then all of a sudden you get to like the big action set piece, and I was like, Jesus. okay, shit just got real. And kind of like after that, I was in. And I've never stopped being in since.
Nice.
I've really enjoyed it. The best way to look at it is, do you remember the old Dungeons and Dragons TV show from back in the day?
I do. Yeah.
It's basically like that with swearing.
Okay.
And a lot of violence.
That's fair enough. I have a weird thing about like swearing and stuff, because as anybody who has listened to this podcast before knows, I'm not one that's like shies away from swearing, like at all. But I think there is a fine line between like swearing and we're allowed to swear. Let's put in another one. Kind of writing, because like. Part of the reason why I was a bit hesitant to start watching the Harley Quinn cartoon was because a lot of people have said no, they're like so aware that they've got like an R rating and they're so happy to be like, let's say fuck every other word. But actually it ended up being really good anyway, so those people can shut up. But like, I always have a bit of a thing about like when people say, oh, you know, it's a bit sweary, and I'm like, oh, is that like, because it don't you think sometimes it feels like people have never sworn before. It's like a kid who says fuck in front of their mum for the first time and hopes she doesn't notice. Like,
and I think that was exactly what I was thinking when I was watching the first episode, which is why I nearly dropped it. And actually, I think I felt a similar way about the first episode of Harley Quinn, and then I sort of settled into it, and then I loved it. Still must watch the second season.
Me too.
But and I think this was quite similar. I think Harley Quinn does a much better job at nailing the swearing than this show does. I do think there's still times where it kind of crosses that line where, like you say, so whereas the action in it and some of the stories, some of the places go, I was quite surprised, and it does. It generally it made me want to play Dungeons and Dragons. It felt like I was watching. Well, I'm watching a Dungeons and Dragons campaign come to life.
Yeah.
So it's got all those sort of trappings which I really like. And a couple of them even kind of look. There's one woman. She kind of reminds me of one of the Dungeons and Dragons characters from the old TV show. The girl, I can't remember her name. She was dressed in brown. I think she was like the thief.
Yeah.
In it. So she kind of, but this one sort of controls plants and stuff. That's what it is. It kind of it's almost like you took Guardians of the Galaxy and you mixed it with Dungeons and Dragons. That's what it is.
Okay.
That's what it is.
And you were saying that there's like voice actors that were doing it. Is there anybody that I would be like, oh, okay, so I'm going to have to check this out?
I don't know. I'll read off the names. So it's got Laura Bailey, Tanzin Jaff, Ashley Johnson, Matthew Mercer, Liam O'Brien, Marisha Ray, Sam Riegel, Travis Willingham.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
The Silent Fog volume.
Whoops.
But no, the animation is really good. The action in it is really good.
Yeah.
And I think give it a go.
Maybe I will.
Yeah, stick with the first. Watch the whole first episode. You'll be tempted. You may not be, but you'll be tempted to sort of dip out after sort of 10 minutes. But I would say try the first episode.
Okay.
Go.
Splendid. I'll give that a whirl. My pick of the fortnight this fortnight. I'm going to stop dancing around pretending that I haven't seen it. It's Peacemaker. The reason I've had to stop dancing around pretending that I haven't seen it is because there's literally nothing else I've watched in the past 2 weeks or read or listened to that has come even close to how fucking phenomenal this TV show is. Right. Oh, my God. Have you managed to watch any of it at all?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so I won't go to spoiler town then. What I will say is that, like, when this show was announced, I was like, all right, because I really loved Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed John Cena in it, and I genuinely think he's quite a good actor anyway. Like, he's definitely got comedic chops.
Yeah.
And I think he's actually, like, quite a genuinely good actor. But, like, the character of Peacemaker was not one that I... Like, if you just said to me you can make a TV show out of anyone in this, I don't think he'd have been high on my list of people to choose. But somehow they've built a TV show that is straight up one of the best things I've seen on telly for like a really good while. Because John Cena's wonderful. There's a character in it called Vigilante who sort of has like Deadpool-esque vibes. So obviously I'm in love with him. And the guy who plays him, Freddie Stromer, he's absolutely wonderful as well. It's a really great cast. It's like a really fun ensemble. But I think one of the best things about it is the fact that it's like a really weird, like comic book story. Like James Gunn isn't afraid at all, and you can tell from the Suicide Squad that he's like, look, comic book stuff can often be just like big fights with like big robots or whatever. But like sometimes it's like alien starfish trying to take over your mind, and like other times it's. I'm not going to say what this show is about, but like it's just really weird shit, and that's kind of what's wonderful about comics is that you could literally do like fucking anything really, and it feels, like it doesn't feel out of place.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I love about this is that he's not afraid at all of embracing like that weird, sort of bombastic, ridiculous side of comics, but also making it like a story that you genuinely care about the outcome of. The last episode in particular was like, it was like a 1-2 punch. Like every now and again you'd be like crying, laughing, and then you'd be crying with actual feelings. Like, what is this show doing to me, man? I didn't anticipate feeling so strongly about John Cena and his life. Like at all. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. Like I would say personally, and obviously everybody's mileage may vary, but I would say personally that this to me is on a level with WandaVision, which was my favourite of the Marvel TV shows from last year.
Okay.
So that's like high praise coming from this twat. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure like most people who were interested in it are already watching it, but I would say if you were on the fence because you were thinking John Cena can't carry a show, or Peacemaker himself can't carry a show, get off the fence and just start watching it.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that I'm not on the fence with it because I've heard a few people tell me about how good it is, and I know Dave really likes it as well.
Yeah.
But I've just not. I've been watching like other stuff, and I've had a limited time. So I quite like if I'm trying to choose my words carefully. If something's quite difficult to get hold of, then I tend to just wait for it to drop into my lap.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I quite like it where loads of people have been talking about shows and how great it is, and I don't end up watching it until like a couple of months after it's done.
Yeah.
Because one, I get the joy of watching it after everyone else is going, God, I really missed that show. I'm like, yeah, suckers. And two, it's just nice to watch it without the noise, whether it's positive or negative.
Yeah.
Because I think it's one of the reasons why I started watching Book of Boba Fett quite late on, because everyone was talking about it and I didn't get around to it. And then I started watching it after everyone was probably already got to the 6th episode. So I was kind of playing catch up, but it was great. I could just watch it at my own pace then, and I just didn't feel the same sort of need. But I do want to check this out. I did like the Suicide Squad. Again, I feel like I want to watch that again before I watch this. So yeah, good call, good choice. And also, I have seen the opening credits, which we talked about in the previous episode. That alone would have given me, someone said I watched that, and I was like, yep. I already knew I was going to watch it when I saw those credits. I was like, I've got to at least give it an episode to see what it's like. No way, I couldn't not.
There's the option to like skip the intro.
Why would you?
When you watch, I'm like, if anybody's skipping that intro, I don't trust them anymore. I don't trust any of their opinions anymore because clearly they're insane.
Also, I just feel these days that like there's so many shows where they don't do the intros like really quick or whatever.
Yeah.
That I always appreciate a really good intro.
Me too.
And I'll quite happily sit through it every single time it comes around.
Yeah, I concur. I really liked the one for His Dark Materials. I thought it was a very good intro.
That was,
Very good intro.
Also, the intro for Around the World in 80 Days is a corker.
Oh, I need to watch that.
Yes, you do.
I do.
That might be. I keep forgetting to put that as a pick, but now it's kind of, I feel time's moved on a little bit now. But yeah, you should watch it. It's a cracker.
Nice. Should we do a bit of music?
Let's muse the musical.
Music. Thanks, B. What's your choice this fortnight?
I don't know. Mine was a weird one because it's an old show. Oops, rookie mistake not turning my phone down. Jeez. It's an old show which I haven't. The show's finished now, but there's a show called Man in the High Castle. Have you heard of it?
I have heard of it. I haven't watched it though.
It was a cracking show. It was on Amazon, and it was probably, I think Amazon is starting to like put out. I mean, Amazon do have some good shows, but I think they didn't have a lot, compared to say Netflix. And this was certainly one of the shows to begin with, which made me want to sign up for Prime, because the whole concept of it was this idea of what if Germany won the Second World War.
Yeah.
Along with Japan, and basically life's just shit. And somehow they managed to get 4 seasons out of that, of just telling you that life would be shit if they won the war. Which, to be honest, you could have probably figured that one out for yourself. But but obviously that's not the only thing. Other stuff goes on, and there's lots of twisty stuff. And it's a really cracking show. I think it goes off the boil a little bit in the last season, but it is a really good show. However, the music I thought was phenomenal, which is done by Dominic Lewis. I don't know if he or she, for that matter, have done anything since. I don't know, but the music on the work on the soundtrack for this is wicked. And the track I've picked is from season 2, and it's called Cherry Blossoms.
Oh, okay.
So again, because there's lots of mixes of music, but there's a lot of I don't want to say Japanese influences, but that's what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just such a kind of haunting piece of music that I love it. And I tend to listen to this every so often when I'm writing. I just tend to put the whole 4 soundtracks on as a playlist on Spotify. So you can get this on Spotify, Stace. You're welcome. So it's a corking track, Cherry Blossoms from The Man in the High Castle, season 2.
Nice. I've travelled even further back in time for my pick. The other day I was trying to psych myself up for a job interview. So I had on my playlist of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like sort of upbeat, exciting soundtrack stuff. Because I was like, I don't need any lyrics to distract me while I'm trying to read all the notes that I've made about this job. But at the same time, I need something to like zing me up and stop me from being quite so anxious. So I popped on this playlist and a little old song called Camel Race by Jerry Goldsmith from The Mummy.
Oh!
And I love this piece of music because it's the great thing about the Mummy soundtrack is that not only is it like very exciting, but it's also sort of romantic at the same time. So it's very comforting to listen to, because even the bits that are like scary are sort of somehow charming. It's like the whole film, really. It's like scary and gorgeous. But this particular song is very sort of like triumphant. Like, it's a very good song to listen to when you're trying to like train yourself up for a job interview, because it is literally a race of camels to a finish point, which our heroes win. So it's like, at the end.
This is the race to get into Hamanatra, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So they're all on their camels having a little jog, trying to get there first. And I think it's Evie that gets there first, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
She's very good at riding camels, apparently. It's a thing that you wouldn't have thought from looking at her.
No.
But yeah, like this piece of music is just so much goddamn fun that it's impossible to be that anxious while you're listening to it. So it's a really helpful track.
It's a cracking choice, because I mean the third film, which I still need to watch again. Again, it's been years for varying reasons. But I tend to do it on a yearly basis, really. But I watched the first 2 Mummy films last year, and every time I honestly forget how good they are.
Mm.
And given the fact that the guy who did them, Stephen Summers, I think it is,
Yeah.
you know, blatantly says, "Yep, I'm ripping off Ray's Lost Ark." You know,
Yeah.
you know, I'm ripping off it. Yep, but I'm like, I don't care when you're doing it that good.
Yeah.
And I would argue, you know, there's ripping off and there's still making it your own, and I think that's what he did. Whereas I think other people have tried to tread the same hallowed ground as indie, and they've just come off like cheap rehashes. Whereas I don't get that from The Mummy.
Yeah. I think what's great about The Mummy as well is that like everybody in that cast is like bringing their A game, and there's so much like actual, like genuine like chemistry and affection, and do you know what I mean? There's like real emotions coming through there. Because like as much as I thought it was enjoyable pap, to me like Jungle Cruise felt like they were aiming for The Mummy. You know, the Rock movie with what's her face? I've forgotten her name. Oh my god, was it Emily Blunt?
Emily Blunt, yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that felt to me like it was like, oh, we're gonna rip off The Mummy, but try and make it our own. But like, I did not believe for a minute that them pair even really liked each other.
It's weird because I enjoyed Jungle Cruise, but I've only seen it once. And normally for a film of that type, an adventure film, I would have rinsed the hell out of it.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
But what's weird is they actually have more chemistry when they're just being interviewed. When you watch the two of them being interviewed, you can tell they properly like each other.
Oh wow! I don't think I've ever seen them in an interview.
There's a load of like clips on YouTube of them just taking the piss out of each other. Go and watch it. If you go and watch that, you'll be like, I don't understand. Because that doesn't.
How did the film come out this way?
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily translate as well on screen. On screen, it feels quite scripted, obviously.
Yeah.
But you know, whereas I think with the Mummy, everyone on there is just, you know, Evie, Rick. I've forgotten his name now. Her brother.
Oh yeah. Oh flipping heck! It's John Hannah, isn't it? What's his name?
Yeah, but I can't remember his name in it.
No, me neither.
Him. I mean, you know, comedy timing, just nailing it. You know, whereas I feel they were trying to do the same thing with Jack Whitehall, and it just didn't work.
It's not. No, it's not as good.
You know,
sorry.
You know. Anyway, yes, cracking choice. Makes me want to go and watch The Mummy now. Nice one.
Maybe you should. It's a very good film.
Yeah, I will.
Have we got any time left for a little geek all about it?
Yes, do a little bit of a geek all about it, love.
Geek all about it.
Geek all about it.
Now, before we get on to the thing that we slightly discussed before we started recording, I just want to pop out two very small bits of news.
Okay.
That Paramount Plus were talking, like they did like a streaming event yesterday where they were just like releasing a shit ton of information about stuff. There's going to be like a new Transformers show. There's going to be new stuff that I've never heard of and don't care about, so I didn't bother writing it down.
They're doing a new Star Trek film.
Yeah, the two bits that intrigued me the most though is that not only have they confirmed Sonic 3, even though Sonic 2 hasn't even come out yet, they've confirmed a Knuckles-led live-action TV series with Idris Elba, which is very exciting to me. I am all about that. I will watch the shit out of it, please and thank you. And the other thing that I thought was interesting, but I don't know if it's in a good way or not, is they're going to be doing a Grease prequel musical that's brought up to the modern day, but is a prequel to Grease somehow. I don't know. It's going to be weird. It's called Rise of the Pink Ladies, which is a title that I fucking hate because it makes me think of Rise of Skywalker, which was shit. So, yeah, how's that for a slice of what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, I won't comment on the Grease prequel because I've got no interest. But the
Knuckles TV show.
The Knuckles TV show, Idris Elba. Yes. What I realised when I saw this sort of news was is I still haven't watched the first Sonic film.
Mate.
I know, but see, that is one of these ones where I think it's on Netflix, isn't it now?
I think it might be, yeah. It's on something because I see it a lot.
And I think, and I will, but I keep thinking it's going to be shit. That's what I keep thinking. I just keep, and I know you said you really liked it, and now people said really liked it, but every time I see it pop up, and I think maybe I should give it a go. I just hear his voice, like this sort of dark voice with me with a cloak on, like he's Palpatine or something, going, "It will be shit.
Don't do it, Barry.
Don't do it."
Well, what I'll say in warning is that it's definitely a kids' film. So, like, don't go into it expecting to have, like, because, like, I'm in my late 30s. And I know that there's definitely stuff in there that's, like, straight up aimed at the people that played Sonic when they were young. But there's also bits very definitely aimed at, like, kids today because they're trying to bring a new audience into Sonic, which makes perfect sense. So, like, if you can handle the bits where, like, I don't know, Sonic flosses, which is something that I fucking hate, which he does twice in the movie. But if you can handle those bits, then the rest of the movie is just really fun. Like, it's a proper fun romp. But you just have to be prepared that it's not like a film for, people in their late 30s and 40s. It's sort of a family film designed for many ages.
Which I think, which is what it should, that's what it should be.
Yeah.
I don't, and I don't have a problem with that if it's done well and it's entertaining. But I think part of the problem is that I've still got, and I know he doesn't look like that anymore, but I still have nightmares about that first trailer they put out with whatever the hell that was.
With his terrifying human teeth.
Yeah. It's like, I'm pretty sure that isn't Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't know what the heck that was.
Do you know what? I am not at all pro cyberbullying, but I'm so glad that the whole internet collectively went, "What is this though?" And they decided to change it. Because what was it though?
Well, which I think is a nice segue onto. Obviously, there was lots of trailers that have come out, and the Lord of the Rings trailer, which looked quite cheap. Yeah, Moon Knight, which looked good.
Meow China.
Yeah. God blimey, it's Moon Knight. That's one heck of an accent. I was trying to think what other trailers they put. Oh, obviously, I can't believe I forgot it. Which nearly was my pick of the fortnight. The Doctor Strange 2 trailer. Lord.
Good heavens.
Lord.
Heavens.
I just thought I was glad I wasn't in the cinema seeing that for the first time because they would have thrown me out.
Yeah, I'd have lost my mind, I think.
I would have gone up to the screen and it's fucking Doctor Strange, you sons of bitches. And have to be escorted off the premises. So no, that looks like crazy ass fun. Can't wait.
Same.
However, after all the dust settled, another trailer dropped this week. For I don't know if it's a reboot or I don't know what it is. So basically, they've done a film version of The Rescue Rangers, which was one of my fave shows. It was up there with, I kind of put it in the same shelf as DuckTales, Tailspin, Darkwing Duck, and Rescue Rangers. And in fact, one of the things I loved about the DuckTales reboot was the fact they were able to incorporate all those shows, including Rescue Rangers, into it.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that I'd got more of Rescue Rangers, to be fair. But I take what I can get. So when I remember when they announced they were doing it, and I was like, oh, I'm well into that, especially given what success they did with DuckTales. It's going to be great, and blah blah. So I watched the trailer yesterday, and I've actually watched it 3 times now.
Me too. Because I'm trying to understand it.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't understand.
I don't get it.
And I think you said this to me, like something Richard said, and I completely agree. I have no idea who this is aimed at. No,
because it feels like, because they keep making great pains to tell you it's not a reboot because this is 30 years later. It's like, it's a continuation. It's like definitely, and so that in and of itself feels like it's aimed at us, people over.
Yeah.
Sort of 37. And then there's also like references to like Roger Rabbit, which feels like that would be more for our sort of audience as well. But then there's like a sequence at the end of the trailer where they're walking down a street and there's like the terrible CGI cats from Cats. Yeah. And then like Seth Rogen is playing like a dodgy CGI dwarf from some video game, I guess. And I'm like, why is he in this movie? What's this about? Who's this bit for? Like, I don't get. And then there's like jokes about like one of them having CGI surgery, which feels like a very like adult joke, but not something adults who like Chip and Dale would be that like amused by. I'm like, what is happening?
This is what I don't get. It's kind of like all them references. I mean, there's a bit in there where like they're talking about like we were on top of the world and blah blah blah. And there's a bit where they're dancing. There's a cat there dancing, and I recognise that cat. That cat is from the Paul Abdul video Opposites Attract.
Yes, yeah.
And I spotted that cat straight away because I used to love that song and I love that video.
It's a good video.
Yeah, but I just thought, but kids aren't gonna get that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Kids aren't gonna get Roger Rabbit. You're gonna have to. Which is all fine if it's a fun, maybe to a certain extent, if it's a fun movie and stuff, you can get away with it. But it just felt like it was being aimed at me, but at the same time. But that's not what I want to see. If you're aiming it at me, that ain't what I want to see.
No, if you're aiming it at people who watched Rescue Rangers, what they want to see is an adventure movie, and nothing about that trailer hinted that it's an adventure movie like in any way. I mean, it tickled me because I watched it on my phone at first, and I was like, this has got to be like a joke. Like I thought, this is like a parody. Like the actual trailer's going to come out later. Somebody's like whipped this up for a laugh to piss off nerds. And then I realised that like no, actually like official people involved with the film are sharing this and they're excited about it, like it's the real thing. So then I tried to show it to Rich, and he put it on, and within 2 seconds, because it starts with a sort of like, what is it like behind like inside Hollywood story, or like
because I thought it was something else.
Yeah, like Rich took one look at it and he was like, I can't watch a trailer that starts like that. That's really annoying. And I was like, that's not an ad. That's the trailer. And he was like, are you shitting me? This is the angle they're going for. And I was like, just watch it. And then, yeah, we got to the bit where they're walking down the street with all the other CGI characters, which is a thing I don't understand anyway. And Rich was like, I don't get who this is for. He said, because it isn't for me, but there's nothing about this. Like if we put that trailer on for my niece and nephew, who are like 5 and 7, there's absolutely no way either of them would give even the slightest of a shit. They might briefly go, oh, look, chipmunks.
Can you just put on DuckTales, please?
Yeah. Can we just watch Paddington again? Because that's a good film.
Yeah.
I'll be like, yeah.
But even something like when you look at like the Paddington films, they are aimed at a younger audience, but the way they're done, it appeals to everyone.
Yeah. Lovely family movies they are.
Yeah. Whereas this one, it just felt confusing. And my only sort of thing that I can hope from it is that somewhere someone will watch that and go, do you know what we need to do? We now need to do a Rescue Rangers TV show on Disney Plus, properly animated, just to like help get the take. I mean, I always want to be proven wrong. I always want to be proven wrong.
Well, I said to Rich, I said the only sort of saving grace for that trailer, I feel, is that it doesn't seem like it showed you a lot of the actual movie itself.
Yes.
So I'm wondering whether they're leaving all the adventure-y element bits, because like our friend of the pod, Jenny Newman, pointed out on the Parlour group that you don't see Gadget in it at all.
No.
And when you read the official sort of synopsis of the film that's come out so far, there's like a reason that they need to get back together to like, go on one last rescue kind of thing. So I wonder whether that's going to be like the main element of the film. And what we've actually seen is just more of them sort of like meeting up before they start the adventure. Yeah. But I really hope they bring out another trailer soon, because if this is all they give us, I don't know if I'm going to be bothered even.
I mean, because there's some things where they drop a teaser trailer, they drop a trailer, i.e. Doctor Strange 2, and you sort of go, it's almost like, yep, that's me done. Wipe your mouth, your napkin, I'm full, don't need to see anymore, don't need to eat anymore. And there's something like this where you go, you need to put something else in front of me.
Yeah. This is not appetizing.
This is not.
Can I talk to the chef?
You need to take this shit back into the kitchen, have a word, and bring out something tasty, because this isn't cutting it.
Yeah, because what was weird as well, there was quite a few like animation-based jokes that would sail over kids' heads.
Yeah,
I just genuinely don't know who it's for. And like what I found interesting was my Twitter feed was like an even split down the middle of people who were like, this looks meta and amazing and I can't wait. I can't believe they've gone down this route. It's going to be hilarious. Can't wait. Somebody pointed out that it looks like the movie Pop Star. Have you seen Pop Star?
No.
Never Stop, Never Stopping. It's a Lonely Island movie where Andy Samberg plays a pop star who's like a sort of bit of an idiot. And it does actually look a little bit like that movie.
Okay.
But like the other half was just people going, what is this nonsense? What am I looking at even?
Like I said, the concept of I don't like the concept of it basically saying that it was a TV. I know, see, now I sound really sad, but I don't like the idea. I didn't like the idea of it being a TV show and then being actors or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't like that idea.
Did they put on the high-pitched accents? Is that what we're trying? Like, because that's the other thing, is that they don't have Chip and Dale voices. They sound exactly like John Mulaney making no effort and Andy Samberg making his normal effort.
I wonder if there'll be a comedy thing where it will start and it almost be like the middle of a Rescue Rangers episode that they're filming and they'll be doing the squeaky voices, then it will go cut and then they will switch to the normal voices, possibly. But I'm not interested in that. I mean, I like the idea. I know we talked about it yesterday. I also know we're rolling over time, but I don't care. I need to get this out.
It's important.
But, I like the idea of it being set years later.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of the Rescue Rangers, as in the group of characters that went and solved mysteries and stuff, splitting up for varying reasons. I also like there was a little bit where it was I've forgotten the big hamster's name, the one who's cheese.
The Australian one.
Yeah, I quite like the fact that it's almost like he's always had a bit of thing with cheese because he couldn't go near cheese or something because it's almost like he was an alcoholic for cheese. And I think they hinted that it's almost like he's gone too far with it. And I quite like that idea. I quite like the idea of like they're all kind of washed up and they've got to like, find themselves again to kind of for one last mission. Yeah. But the whole, the rest of it, the whole we're washed up TV show stars and now we've got to be, But
it's got to be our characters for this moment. I don't know. Like, like I say, I just think unless they show me something that's much more akin to what I would want from a Rescue Rangers, I mean, I might watch this just out of like morbid curiosity and the fact that I do like Andy Samberg.
Yeah.
So like I'd like to think it's going to be funny because the Lonely Island are they're very funny. And John Mulaney's very funny. I mean, I've soured on him a bit of late, but the ingredients are there for it to be an enjoyable film. I just wonder if it's going to be one of these things where I'm like, this might have been good if it wasn't Chip and Dale. You know, like how I always say about the Resident Evil movie, like how it's actually like a fairly good, like, biological nightmare film if you pretend it's not Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Like if you just pretend this is like, nightmare zombie times, then it's a fine romp. I wonder whether this might be down that avenue for me where I just think I'm just going to have to forget everything I know about Chip and Dale. Just put that to one side. But I am hoping that there's going to be another trailer soon that'll be like, haha, it is, closer to what it actually is, and it's much more of an adventure romp, and I'll be happy. Yeah.
And maybe, because I see that happen sometimes, maybe like the powers that be are, scouring the social media feeds to see what people's reactions are, and actually taking it away and going, we need to put another trailer out sharpish and need to beef up the action and adventure side of it because that's kind of what the show was about.
And it was a lot of standing around and talking, wasn't it? There was like one sort of little bit where it looked like they might have been like rushing down a sewer or something.
Yeah, and I think they were in their sort of plane or their sort of airshipy type thing.
Yeah. There's a brief bit of that, but that's it. There's no... Yeah, I don't know. I need to see more before I make a decision, but I'm not... It hasn't warmed me up at all for it yet.
No.
Sorry, Chip and Dale.
Sorry, guys.
Might go and watch DuckTales again.
Yeah.
On that note, that was Stace and Barry, Rescue Podcasters. That doesn't fit. Hey, if you want to send us an email, do so at staceandbarry@gmail.com. You can do us a tweet at Stacey's Parlour and at Geek Syndicate. you can send us positive vibes through the air. And I'm sending some out to everybody right now. If you need any positivity, whoosh, there's some. I hope you felt that. Whoosh. Have a wonderful Saturday, everybody. We love you. Bye.
Bye all.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.